Yeah, we got the early music here. Welcome in. Are we gonna get the goods? Is it gonna be the bads? Are we back? Are X spaces back? This like waiting music is definitely not the greatest though, to be honest. I'm just recording here for anybody that's not live, able to catch it on X. So drive home from work, drive to work, hang out in the car, session for later. I think a lot of people don't use X. You know, gotta pass the information all around. If you're just tuning in, what's up? Hope your day's good. Just waiting for the Third Kingdom. The Third Kingdom. AMA. Well, I have no idea how I'm playing the Prysm sales, by the way. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Charui! Yo, SA, what's up, what's up, what's up? No, that's crazy. Do you know the difference between a quarter and a half?
Hello.
Hello.
How do we get the music to stop?
How do we get the music to stop? Good question. I'm not really sure how the music starts. Yo, what's going on, Harry Swan? How are you? Dude, do you end up buying that Cataclysm? SurrealScape? Yo, man, it's me up last night. He's like, I might buy a plot. I'm like, no way. Big influence? No way. We might have to restart the spaces here. These guys might be completely chalkered. You know what I mean? You're not dropping 2 ETH on that? No, it's crazy, eh? When you see things priced in ETH versus priced in other coins, look at that US dollar value, baby. Yeah, bro, they got no idea how to turn the music off. No cap. So it starts when you don't talk immediately. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem on aisle 12. Any of you guys watch the Call of Duty championship on the weekend? Wow, the drama, unbelievable. You guys like drama? Do you like beef? Vegetarian. Oh, they got it.
Ah, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm here. I'm
Thank
gonna be
you,
quiet
everyone.
and
Thanks for
talk
joining.
after,
Good
before,
morning.
in between. I don't know. Enjoy.
Just one moment. Let me just get everything up and running. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. It's always GM in the metaverse. This is the Third Kingdom AMA. I am joined, obviously, by Futureverse co-founder and CEO Aaron McDonald. Firstly, just want to welcome everyone and thank you all for joining us on this Monumental Spaces. We'll bring Aaron up shortly to lead the charge on all of this. But for those of you who don't know myself, my name is Alex Mailer and I am the VP of Community for Futureverse. The Third Kingdom really holds a special place in my heart personally, because prior to Futureverse, I was the co-founder and CEO of Non-Fungible Labs, the team behind Fluff World and many of your other favorite Futureverse collectibles. And yeah, in those early days when we kind of started bringing Fluff to the world, it was always our vision for it to become part of something much greater than itself. This obviously grew originally through the introduction of some of our more first-party IP, like Party Bears, Thingies, Burrows, etc. But it's really incredible, especially for me personally, having this so close to my heart, to see this now become more of a rallying cry across all Web3 collections, because at the end of the day, the metaverse is built with friends. So speaking of friends, let's bring up Aaron McDonald. Aaron, are you there? One second, I think you're muted.
Aaron. Oh, here we go.
Okay, I'm back.
There we are.
How was it?
Perfect, much better. We managed to escape the hold music, and we're ready to go.
God.
It's always dangerous one trying up these new features on X. You never quite know how it's going to work, but we're here now. So let's dive right into things. Aaron, I guess first and foremost, as we just touched on, the metaverse is built with friends, and the Third Kingdom has really kind of started as a partnership, first and foremost, between Futureverse and Walker World. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, if those have been kind of in the community for a long time now would have known that we've been collaborating with the Walker Labs team and the Walker World community for, well, really since the early days. And so there's always been a close kind of kinship between the two businesses and between the two communities. And as we've been working on, our overall strategy and approach to how we bring games and experiences to life, we've been out there, doing our diligence on who are the best in the game to partner up with, and Walker Labs certainly fits the bill in that respect. So we started over a year ago or so now, working together towards a more strategic alignment across the different projects that we've been involved with, and there were some really great synergies, between us on two projects in particular. One was announced at South by Southwest recently, where we've decided to join forces to co-build the Open MMO, which is a really exciting AAA Unreal Engine 5 experience, leveraging off the Ready Player One IP and a whole host of other IP that we're going to bring to life from brands and franchises that you know and love. And at the same time, we were both working on a strategy-focused, resource-oriented game, and decided to bring that together as well. So the Third Kingdom kind of emerges out of that piece of work, which both teams were working on concurrently, and there was a lot of overlap in the approach and game design. And so instead of going out there and trying to do it individually, decided to pull our resources and our communities together and start the journey of building the Third Kingdom, really as kind of a foundational layer for the economy of games that we will continue to build out inside of this ecosystem, and start the ball rolling with something that's really fun to play as a strategy simulation game.
But Walker World, Walker Labs aren't the only partners involved with the Third Kingdom. We're also fortunate enough to be joined by some additional top tier Web3 collections, including Cool Cats, Pudgies, Doodles, Deadfellas. How did all of them get involved?
Yeah, I mean, we're, as you mentioned, we're kind of open metaverse maxis, and I think one of the cool things about Web3 gaming, in fact, the coolest thing about Web3 gaming, and the thing that differentiates it from where we've come from is the notion of interoperability and the ability for people to genuinely own the things that they love is only really made magic by the fact that they can use them where they like. And so having the principles of openness built into this was a really important thing for us. And so we started to reach out to like-minded individuals who led these projects and discuss with them the opportunity of coming and joining what we were building and creating more value for the combined communities to showcase to the world and to Web3 that openness and interoperability works and is valuable, and to make the gaming experience more fun and give more levels of dynamism to the way that the strategies can play out. You're muted, I think, Alex.
Oh, sorry, going off on a monologue for myself. But that brings us nicely to the Third Kingdom game itself. Can you give us some more insights into the game and how it all works, how it all comes together?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I want to get into too much detail because that'll spoil the fun. And that's kind of been a strategy change from our perspective, not to write white papers and get into the nitty gritty of these things, because that's not really the point of games. Games should be discovered and experienced rather than kind of read up like homework. No doubt that people will get into the analytics and have a lot of fun with that as it progresses, and we really love to see that happening. But it should be an organic thing that kind of emerges from excited players who are interested in sharing their knowledge, rather than us kind of coming out and writing a book about it before it starts. The cool the cool thing is that you're starting to see those elements of those things come out now. So we already know that there will be a bunch of collectibles involved in the strategy and how that plays out. That there will be SurrealScapes. SurrealScapes are kind of land that is rich in resources that can be tapped into by players of the game. And then there are Prysms, and Prysms are the kind of premium resource extracting collectible within the game's economy, and gives you access to higher tier and more rewards, and the chance to win a share of I think something around $30 million worth of root. So as a prize pool, it's one of the largest prizes in gaming, and really exciting opportunity for players to come in and start to play a fun game, but also have the chance to win a share of what is pretty massive prize pool out there.
Now, you touched on SurrealScapes there just briefly, and we saw many of those go out to existing holders of eligible collectibles yesterday, and they look incredible. But I'm curious, we've also touched on community land and how that can be used within the game. Can you please provide a bit of info around the difference between SurrealScapes and community land?
Yeah, so the idea is we want to try and create as many on-ramps for new players as possible, because the more people who play this, the funner it is for everyone, and the more value it creates for everyone. And so SurrealScapes have two kinds. There are player-owned, which are premium biomes, and they come with more resources and richer types of resources. But if you're not in the first cohort, or you're coming into this later down the track when it starts to roll out, and you want to experience the game, then you can. So you can go on and play the same kind of game, but just with access to a lower amount of resources. And then as you work your way up, maybe you can acquire some player-owned land and start to level up in terms of the types of things you can do and the types of resources that you can find. So trying to really make it smooth on ramps for people who want to get in there and have a bit of fun and figure it out before they go and try and level up in those different kinds of collectibles that can make the game experience richer.
And obviously, with resources underfoot, we need something to help us extract those resources, which you touched on as well. Prysms. Can you provide a bit more context around Prysms, how they work?
Yeah, so you can plant Prysms on your SurrealScapes, and they give you access to more and better quality resources. You can have up to 3 per plot, and they also enable a bunch of other strategy features inside the game. As people start to play it out, they'll start to see all the kinds of interesting things that those Prysms can open up on SurrealScapes as you progress through the levels of the game. We're actually going on sale with the Prysms tomorrow, I believe. And so that will be the first chance to go out there and get your hands on this new kind of collectible that will activate a whole bunch of different features inside of the Third Kingdom gaming experience. And the thing I think that's really interesting is each of these SurrealScapes, has their own traits, and the Prysms will have their own traits, and then your collectibles have their own traits, and all of these things are going to play roles in the way that you optimize the resource gathering within your strategy for the game. So lots of variety and lots of complexity and lots of opportunity for people to figure out the optimal path, for the kinds of things that they want to do inside the game.
I'm sure pretty much everyone listening to this has been through their fair share of mints, Web3 sales mechanics in their time, from traditional fixed price mints, Dutch auctions, even the community determined supply mechanic that we launched for Seekers. Can you explain a bit more about the fair value sale mechanic that's been developed for the Prysm sale?
Yeah, we've kind of looked back at the history of the different things that have emerged in this space over the years and tried to figure out what were the good and bad of each of those and come up with a way to allow the most fair result in most cases. And you're never going to please all of the people all of the time, and so that's kind of that's an impossible goal to get to. But what we did want to do was make sure that everyone who participated got something for their participation, that they could participate at the level that they wanted to, irrespective of where the price was. That you couldn't just come in and grab everything, as a whale, that every member of the community was treated equally and fairly in the distribution, and that there wasn't a necessarily a big pressure to rush for gas, and so people could take a bit of time to go through and make the decisions about when they contribute to this. So effectively, people put root into the fair price contract or pallet on the network, and based on the amount that they put in relative to the total amount raised, they'll get a share of Prysm vouchers. Now, the cool thing about that is that they're fractional. A lot of people have talked about some of the benefits of ERC 404, for example, in creating more liquidity. And so these vouchers are instantly fractional and tradable on Dexter, which is the decentralized exchange palette on the Root network. And so that's kind of a nifty little feature. Once the sale's completed, if you want to acquire more vouchers, you can, or if you have too many, you can sell them. And then once that's settled down a bit, people will be able to go and make a claim with each full voucher getting access to a Prysm. So really trying to solve for creating a fair way to discover price that isn't Dutch auction type oriented, or even standard auctions, which either exclude people when they get to a certain price because they can't afford to meet the minimum price, or they force people to jump in at a higher price than maybe is fair. So we take care of both of those mechanics. That is open to everyone. Everyone gets a fraction of a voucher, no matter how much they put in. That gives people time to make those things, so they don't have to rush in and kind of put heaps of money into kind of getting faster in the queue with gas, and provides like higher liquidity instantly for those who want to kind of acquire more or have less during the post sale mechanics.
Yeah, no, I've certainly been one of those people myself in the past when it comes to all these other mint mechanics with Dutch auctions and the like, or having to wake up at 4 in the morning New Zealand to try and get in on something just to be priced out due to gas. So personally, I think it's a brilliant mechanic. Providing plenty of time for anyone to get involved. That said, I believe there is an additional incentive for getting in within the first 24 hours. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so like what we did, those who know the kind of community well will know the Future Score system, and what we've done recently is to engage and introduce a new component within Future Score. So Future Score has been a way for the community to participate in things that add value to the root network and to the ecosystem, and to help encourage new people to come in and participate in the ecosystem. And so up until recently, Future Score was comprised entirely of collectibles score. And that was based on things like what you owned and how long you hold them, and the rarity of those things. And we wanted to add to that a new component called engagement score. And so engagement scores reward you for things that you do, because it's not just important to collect things, but to create value in the root network and the ecosystem. There has to be activity happening. And so now with engagement score, we have the opportunity to introduce new kinds of quests where engagement becomes the driver for the score, and to create two sets of reward tracks that can either leverage off your combined feature score, your collectibles score, or your engagement score. And those can be weighted differently for different quests, and we can introduce new rewards from different pools into the future score rewards mechanics as well. So really a big expansion of the future score system, and for participating in the first period of time for the Prysm sale, we're going to be offering quite a big engagement score incentive for those to come in, and participate, and also for new people joining the Futureverse ecosystem, to come in and start to engage with Future Score, and then figure out how that works and how they can optimize that going forward for new rewards and new quests.
Yeah, in my mind, it's a lot like HODL versus BIDL.
Yeah,
HODL was such a rallying cry originally, but it was a kind of passive way of supporting the growth of the industry, whereas the mindset of BIDL was, let's not just sit here passively and hold, but let's really actively engage and contribute, and thus grow the network activity. So
yeah,
once again,
and it's not to say that collecting and holding isn't important. It's still the most important part of Future Score. But this is a new way that we can introduce new mechanics and reward new communities, and it's really important to everyone that the community grows. There's so many more benefits for a larger community with more activity on the network for everyone involved.
100% agreed. Well, I think that takes us to the end of the sort of opening statements. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we open it up to the audience for questions?
No, I'm just really excited to see how this all plays out. I mean, the gameplay and the game design is really clever. You've got some amazing brains from both the Walker Labs team and our team on this. The partnership, for us, is a really important one and strategic one, and so we're excited to be working, jointly with their team on the way that we build these things out. And it does, I can't wait for the next kind of few months to roll out the game and see everyone get in there and have some fun with it. It does feel like, you know, one of the best thought out game economies that I've seen in the Web3 space. So really excited to see that in action.
All right, I'm
Probably
one
more thing which we didn't touch on so much was the material world concept. And it's kind of mentioned in the comms a little bit, and we'll get into more detail on this as we go. But just to give people, a brief heads up, they would have noticed in their SurrealScapes that there are different kinds of SurrealScapes that seem to have different access to different kinds of resources. And so one of the things that's that Futureverse always tries to do is to create these systems that can encourage interoperability in the open metaverse. And this game is actually no different. While there's kind of a fun strategy game to play, which has a huge prize pool against it, there's also this underlying kind of platform evolution that we're trying to create, which is to if you look at kind of gaming economies, getting a gaming economy off the ground is one of the hardest things to do as a game developer. Both from a technical point of view, having game economists involved in the development of those things is not something that every independent game developer can afford or access, at least good ones. And also, just the nature of growing a market is actually hard to do within any application, including gaming. And so what we wanted to be able to do with this is to create a bootstrap for game economies. And so the resources that get mined within the ecosystem become part of a material world of resources. And so not only are you kind of competing to win the prizes in the game and the route that's available as part of the competition, you're also creating a bootstrap economy of resources that any gamer can tap into and have something that they can build their ecosystem on top of and provide incentive for players to come into and engage with, and also to bootstrap liquidity for functions within inside of their game. And so as much as it is a fun game to play with lots of opportunities to win big prizes, there's also this underlying economy of resources that you're developing as well, that we hope other gamers will tap into, and certainly we will when we're building out our own experiences.
Beautifully said. Yeah, I think that, as you say, to be able to allow additional game developers to kind of bootstrap their resource economy through this material world is really brilliant and helps with the whole ethos of interoperability across Web3. All right, I think that brings us nicely to open question time. I'll start bringing people up on stage. If you're wanting to get up and ask a question, make sure you hit that request to speak button. I know Pointer Charlie, you have been requested to speak since the very start of the AMA, so I think we'll bring you up first. Pointer Charlie, are you there? You appear to be muted.
Hello.
Hey.
I accidentally hit that, thinking my mic was open. I was just trying to mute my mic, but I appreciate it. like what I'm hearing so far.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome, man.
All right, we'll let you head down then.
What was that?
JJ Hops, are you there?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for doing this. Aaron, thanks for taking the time in the voice chat as well, right
Yeah,
before
no
your
problems,
flight.
man.
Really appreciate. Trust you guys 100% and excited to see everything play out, even with the different changes. But I just have two quick questions. The first was regarding the industries and like the in-game economy. So like for example, I pull the 3x3 that has an ooze industry, but I don't have a lot of exposure in Walker World. I have one female, one jetpack. So can you speak to if there's going to be like an in-game economy where I could like a market where I could trade like the ooze that I harvest for other resources that are more along what I'm doing?
Yeah, I think there'll be opportunities for you to optimize how you collect resources, whether that's trading resources or it's trading the components to, you might want to swap your wasteland for a different player's, maybe they have a couple of another type of resource that they have more of than they want. Or you might be able to trade the Prysms, or you might be able to trade the collectibles that optimize on those land parcels, or the mining operations within it. So I think trading will become a big part of what emerges in this gameplay, because people will need to optimize for the various different combinations of those things, to optimize their strategy to win, the biggest share of the rewards in the game prize pool. So we expect to see, lots of trading and liquidity evolve for all of the components within the ecosystem.
Awesome. Very cool. In regards to the
And
special
the
functionality that
resources and stuff like that, there'll be a mix of kind of on-chain and in-game.
Mhm.
We're trying to optimize for a good playing experience, as well as reducing the on-chain gas side of things as much as possible. So certain resources will be in game only, and then they can kind of be combined and assembled up into on-chain for more valuable rewards.
Of course. Okay. Regarding thingies, buzzies with the functionality, like, is that gonna look like more like a formal announcement, or is that gonna be more of we kind of play it out and find out what they add to the
Yeah, I
experience?
think we're more inclined to let people discover that, and either through gameplay or as we release different trailers and stuff leading up to the launch. Like I said earlier, it should be a fun experience, and we're trying to optimize for fun. And a big part of the fun of gaming is mechanism discovery. So laying it all out there at the beginning kind of spoils the fun of it.
Yeah, and it seems like it's just maybe some kind of retraining or refocus going on because we've been so conditioned for so long
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
monetary gain
I
and
think that's been. I
how
mean,
I can play to
it's
earn
been
and
one of the. It's been one of the failures, I think, in Web3 gaming, is just to take that fun element out, and I think that's one of the big things that kind of annoys the traditional gaming community is the notion that that the fun is sucked out of it, because there is this kind of incessant focus on the economics of it, and you can have both. It's like, why not have fun and great game economies? And that's what we're trying to do here.
Well, I think that was the original, play to earn mechanic kind of really put the focus on earning and almost made the playing, a job really. So to that point, we want to step away from that definitive you're playing to earn, and also incorporate fun throughout the entire process.
Mm.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I
Yeah,
will
and
yield to the next.
you've heard me use the term "play to win," you know, because I think again, just language matters, and if we can slightly shift the lexicon of things, then we can increase the number of people who are inclined to participate in this stuff. You know, playing for competitive games for prize pools is a huge part of traditional gaming. And so no, you know, aspiring gamer out there is against the idea of playing to win prizes. And the word earn is something that's got context and kind of closeness to work. And so play and work are like at the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of you know, people's perception. And so if you're putting earn inside of the play domain, that's kind of something that puts people off. But if you put win inside of the play domain, then, you know, that's exciting, you know, and that's something that people want to be a part of. So, you know, get out there and help us change this kind of lexicon and narrative in the popular domain. We've always, you know, said that it's important to make the technology invisible and talk about things in the language that people understand. NFTs as a data structure, whereas collectibles is something that people do. And this is another opportunity for us to go out there and kind of, you know, keep winning hearts and minds, that there's something more here than what people might have been preconditioned to think.
Excellent point. All right, thanks, JJ. Heliax, can you hear us?
I gotcha. Hey guys, thanks for hosting. Two quick ones. Aaron, are Prysms going to be the only way to mine or harvest our SurrealScapes?
They give you access to premium resources and more functions within the game. But we want to have some kind of experience for people who are coming in fresh and, you know, found out about this thing and want to explore it and discover how they can participate.
Gotcha. And then in terms of the root rewards, can you talk about the mechanic that we'll use to earn the root rewards?
Not really. That's going to be something we want you to discover in the game, except to say that, you know, optimizing your strategy for collecting, you know, the right resources and the highest quantity of those resources will earn you the highest share of rewards.
Got it. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Heliax. Volt, are you there?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah, just a big shout out, I guess, to shipping the next Legends and AFA racers. Like I'm watching a race right now. Actually, I'm watching a race right now. And somehow like only won, and I'm just, yeah, I'm pretty frustrated and like, you know, I'm figuring it out. But yeah, I guess that's a good indication of a good game. So,
yeah, we want easy to get in there and play to begin with, but like have to really work at it to master it. And
yeah.
I love these style of games where it is kind of strategy focused and it allows people to participate in an asynchronous way, you know, where they don't have to necessarily, you know, be click masters or have the highest reaction times or to spend hours and hours, you know, grinding necessarily, but they can take time to think and put together strategies that help them win. And it to me, it feels like a you know, a type of gaming that can be really friendly to those of us who you know, maybe have jobs and kids and families and all those kinds of things, and we don't necessarily get the time to be competitive in other types of games.
Yeah, certainly, and I've definitely already seen that with the racing for sure. And then it was funny because with the Next Legends, I came out and my first boxer was like, you know, has been top 15 from the beginning, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm just really good. And I was expecting that same thing with racers, but it's not really working out that way. But anyway,
well,
maybe when more people with
races.
more tickets can come in, then maybe there'll be more people I can chew up on the race course. But everyone is too good right now.
Yeah, races has definitely got another layer of strategy to it. You know, the cars have so many components to them. And so optimizing cars is one track. Then you've got brains, and so different brains will be good at driving different cars. And so you've got that combination, and then you've got tracks. Different cars with different brains will be better at driving different tracks. And it's physics based too. So this game has had a lot of love put into it, and even to the extent when we were testing, we couldn't work out why this cart couldn't complete races. And what had happened was that the combination of parts on the car had made it too heavy to go through a pothole. So that's how much detail and love is in the game. It's a really fantastic thing that we hope to keep expanding on.
Maybe I gotta rip down my cart and start over again because I
Yeah.
don't know. I just don't know. But I guess my question was just, I think Alex maybe mentioned in a few days ago that, and I'm kind of digging here, but it's just, you mentioned that there might be some sort of way to get SurrealScapes, like, you weren't a part of like the drop necessarily like prerequisites or something like that, but you have you're an active Future Pass user. I'm just wondering if you might want to tell us a little bit more about that.
I would just say stay tuned.
Well, funny you should mention that, because I think it literally just happened.
Yeah.
No way.
check your wallet, spam.
Yo, check the wallets, check the wallets, check the wallets.
Here I go. I'm doing that. But anyway,
so if it has
mute
started,
now.
then I can say yes. There is, and we have long planned a way to involve our Futureverse fam. And this time we've decided to reward community members based on their activity. And so everyone who's been an active member of the Future Quest program and Future Score community will get something. And what you get will depend on how many quests you've completed. And so we're really excited to be able to reward those who have been supporting us.
I'm trying to look at it. There's no details on them yet.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Bless. I'll leave now. My job here is done.
Thanks so much, Bob. Thanks for having us up, for joining us. Max Poker, how are we doing?
Hi there. How are you?
Hi.
Good, right?
I would like to ask 2 questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
So my first question is about the Dexter pool for fractional coupons.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, is that a traditional liquidity pool? And if so, who do you expect to be providing the liquidity? And also, are there any incentives or just a trading fee?
Yeah, so it does work like traditional pools, and just like any DEX, anyone can add liquidity to those pools.
So there's no incentive outside of like a 0.3 trading fee?
There's no additional incentive, no.
And who do you expect to provide it? Just like normal community members?
Interested parties, Max, like any
Interested
DEX.
parties. Okay. I'll move on to my next question. What is the reason for the 10x bonus for committing funds in the first 24 hours when the sale lasts a full 2 weeks?
It's to get momentum and excitement into the process and reward those who've been following along in the journey first.
Are you at all concerned that once the first 24 hours, the sale might really go very slowly for the rest of the 13 days?
I don't know. We'll have to see. It's the first time we're using this mechanic, and we hope we've designed it in a really effective way to produce a really fair outcome, but we don't know until we get out there and try it.
Okay, well, those were my 2 questions. Can I plug my show for 10 seconds? Is that okay?
You go hard, bro.
Okay, so every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is Down the Rabbit Hole, a weekly show about the Futureverse and the Root Network. And it is Tuesday, so the show's in just over 3 hours. So hope you all can join. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Max.
Awesome. Cheers, Max. Beefy Z, are you with us?
I am. Thanks so much for this AMA. Thanks for taking the question. This marketplace, now that there's more projects, now that there's more eyes on it, are you able to comment on, how you see the evolution of that marketplace going forward?
That'd be a question for the Mark team.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Mark's built by a third party.
Understood. Thanks.
I will say though that there are other projects looking to build and working on building marketplace interfaces into Root Network. So we expect to see, other options emerge, and choice creates competition, and competition creates drive to, optimize for different types of features and community, community wants and needs. So that's all part of growing an ecosystem, and we're excited to see that happen.
The beauties of open market, right?
Yeah.
All right. Just before I bring up the next person, there's a couple that have just come through within the Discord itself. For those of you who have checked out the website, enterthethirdkingdom.com, there's 5 big words laid out there: build, harvest, upgrade, explore, and defend. This question from Cooper Trooper relates specifically to that last word, and says, just curious if goblins or amulets will have anything to do with the defending of our land in the Third Kingdom, or should we be expecting amulet and goblin utility in open?
Well, like we've said for other collectibles, you'll have to find out by playing the game. But I would say that, this is season 1 of TTK. And so, please make sure that you leave room for the idea that there'll be other seasons with, more rewards, more characters, more interesting gameplay. In the lore of Fluff World, goblins didn't come on the scene immediately. So I won't say anything more than that, but there's lots of opportunity for fun things to emerge as we kind of roll out the features of the game in the different seasons. Those of you who have been part of the goblins community and the amulet holders, you'll have some, if you've been engaged with the Future Quest program, you'll have some SurrealScape to start you on your journey. So check out your wallets and use that to kind of get in and start playing the game, and then take it from there.
Sounds good. Another one from the Discord from Matt Bartlett. Says, great to grow the community by including other communities. Can the team speak to the strategy or the plan to onboard new folks without needing to have such a deep understanding of Web3 or, being a crypto native in general?
I think that the Third Kingdom is more oriented towards the Web3 audience and communities to begin with. The core mechanics and rewards and stuff like that are Web3, familiar rewards and mechanics. And so we want to do well in that community. We do think there is opportunity to onboard other players outside of this. And so the on-ramps to participating in the game, as we are doing with everything in Futureverse, we're simplifying those things and making it easy for people to come in and sign up and onboard and start to play. But I don't think that someone coming in to play this game necessarily needs to know about everything that's going on from day one. And that's the whole beauty of play. When I start playing any game, I don't know exactly how it works. And often they are complex. And there are many more successful games out there that are much more complex than this one. And that mechanism discovery is a core psychological element of good games. And so often, having something that is simple to start to engage with, come in, sign up through our friendly onboarding processes, start with community, land SurrealScapes, and start to build up your strategy from there. And as you do, learn more elements of the mechanisms that make it successful, is how any game works. And that is a good game. I think what we've been conditioned to as Futureverse community is to think we have to understand all of the stuff that's happening as we're building a platform. But actually, these games and experiences, you don't need to know all of those things. You just have to come in and play the game and learn about that game's mechanics. They don't need to understand everything else that's going on to understand that.
I mean, that speaks to us as human beings. We learn a lot better from doing than just from, reading. I remember the sheer amount of hours, or shall I say years, that I sunk into World of Warcraft. And if I had tried to kind of read up and understand how every component of that game works first, it probably would have taken about half the time.
You wouldn't have played
exactly. Exactly.
And I think that's another thing that we kind of have to keep reminding ourselves, that the core communities in Web3 that are on these early phases of the journey, they're in a privileged position where they've got to see this stuff evolve and understand what's going on under the hood, and that can enable them to make strategic decisions as this stuff starts to scale. But not everyone will want to participate at that level, and they don't need to. And the idea that we have to communicate all of this complexity to everyone is a kind of a false idea, because people will come in as this thing grows and just want to participate in a little bit of it. But if a lot of people participate in a lot of little bits, that creates value for everyone who knows the sum of those bits.
Beautifully said. We'll take one more question quickly from Discord, and then T-Doge, it's all you. This one, once again, from Cooper Trooper. Mycelium is mentioned in the lore of the Third Kingdom website, but is not one of the resources we have seen on SurrealScapes thus far. Will everyone have the opportunity to mine Mycelium, or do only certain parcels have Mycelium to find? Is this one you're willing to answer?
You have to find out in the game.
I figured as much. All right, T-Doge, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for taking a little time to talk with us, and just let you guys know I think you are absolutely killing it. Nobody doing more than you guys, for sure. My question is pretty simple. It's a quick one. In this game, I'm a long time gamer, and I don't mind a grind every once in a while. I actually kind of like it. But that being said, is there any elements of like surprise or luck in this game?
Yeah.
I love it. Perfect.
Yeah, there's like any good games, there's a range of different kind of mechanics that lead to success, and always important to have an element of chance.
That's all I got for you. Thank you.
Easy. All right. Let's bring up Chu. Wow, they're just coming up on stage. There's another one here from the community, from PJ Glitch. Can you confirm whether the collectibles and prisms will be minted on the Root network along with the SurrealScapes, and that they will be contributing to the gas rewards that Vortex tokens receive from staked Root?
So yeah, Prysms are an on-chain asset, I believe, and any activity in the trading mechanics contribute to Vortex because it's on Dexter. Is that the question?
Yep. Basically, that any of this redriving on-chain activity, and thus any transaction fees, you know, a slice of that will go back to
so
the
I
board.
think overall we're trying to optimize for a good balance of, you know, gas fee transactions in game and on game transactions, and trying to kind of make those choices about where it's important to have on-chain components of the gameplay and on-chain assets versus what's better to be done in game to balance the user experience overall.
100%. I think, you know, to go back to World of Warcraft, for example, if I had to pay a transaction fee anytime I wanted to, you know, give someone an item, then that quickly becomes pretty costly. So finding that balance is really important. Cooley, are you with us?
I am. Hi there. Good evening, guys. Aaron, always a pleasure. Mr. Alex, always a pleasure. I have a question about the bigger, like all the game mechanics. I'm excited to play on all fronts. I'm a little bit interested in the Ready Player One / the Matrix side of things. Is the partnerships that you have with these movie studios or IPs, is that clues in the game? Because the Ready Player One is more of jumping into the game and playing it, and the Matrix is more of coming out of the game and living in the real world. Is there something there with that?
That's quite a philosophical question. I don't know if I really have an answer for that. I mean, I think at the
It's not often Aaron gets stumped live on live, eh, mate?
I think I think that, you know, the heart of our thinking about this stuff is that the digital part of our world and society and the physical part of our world and society are commingled. They're not like discrete things, and I think in both of those films, they kind of seem like they're discrete. Whereas we're in our world, what we're trying to do is provide a path for humanity that as it inevitably evolves into a more digitally connected society, to have the opportunity to have a better say in how that evolves and how it's governed and who extracts value from it. I don't think we can stop progress and evolution. And the notion that we could try and do that, I think, is flawed. But what we can try and do is to make sure that humanity and communities are the ones in charge of how it evolves. And that's the big piece of work that we're trying to do. And I guess that's the shared, common, psychology that comes out of both of those films. And so, all the ways we're thinking about building technology that underpins this stuff is giving the choice for communities to take back control of the elements of that future society. I mean, we saw just yesterday, I think they released the video of Elon's first Neuralink patient playing Mario Karts. And so that's a very visceral kind of representation of where human society is going to evolve, and that we're already playing games with our minds. And you think about both of those movies and the center, concept in those, that kind of almost symbiotic or cyborg type relationship with technology was something that started, I think, really when cell phones came around. They have become an extension of our personhood in some way, and many people would not be able to function as an active member of society without that piece of hardware attached to them. Although very loosely attached to them now, society is progressing down a path where they'll be tightly coupled. And so if we took anything from that question, that's probably where our thinking's at, is how do you, in this inevitable world where technology is so infused with humanity, how do you give choices back to consumers about being the ones in charge of how that evolves?
Cool. Thank you, sir.
Great question there. DW NFT, are you with us?
Yeah, hey guys, just making sure you can hear me. I'm not cutting out.
Yep, coming
I
through
am
loud and clear.
perfect. Yeah, hey Alex, hey Aaron. Yeah, so I am one of those whales, so-called whales, been with you guys from the very beginning, waiting patiently, and you know, I just want to say, like, with the mechanism coming up, yep, I'm not going to go on about it, but the only reason why we have to buy a lot is because we own a lot, and for us to use those assets, we need to buy the assets that you guys are providing. So I just know that if we do have a lot of people, so-called whales, buying these prisms, that puts up the price anyway for these little guys that are trying to get a prism and they could only get quarter tickets. I hope I'm wrong on that fact, but anyway, that's just that's just my opinion. But I just got a couple of questions anyway. When you say we are in to win, for the 30 million, is there like a chance that we could actually lose resources in the game, so you actually lose what you put into it? So for example, on that land, if you do put 3 prisms, cost you around about $220 US. Is there a possibility that you could walk out of there less than $220?
I don't know if I have the answer to that specifically, or that I would go into that specifically, because this isn't a financial investment; it's a game. But the mechanics to win the biggest share of the game rewards, you have to play the game well, and it's possible if you don't play it well that you might not optimize your rewards, because you know, things like the defend part of the game require you to actually defend. So we want people to play the game actively, and if they play the game actively, then they'll do well. And to your point earlier, you know, price is a function of community-wide demand, and so that you could assume that that mechanic will drive the price up, but it also may not. You know, there may be a general consensus about where that lands, and the whole idea is that in a traditional auction, as the price goes up, you get cut off from opportunity, and similar in a Dutch auction, if it lands on a price higher than where your wallet's at, then you get nothing at all. And the fair sale mechanic solves both of those problems for traditional auctions and for Dutch auctions, by allowing everyone to participate at the level that they can, and everyone to get a share of the vouchers at the end of it, irrespective of how much they do participate at.
Okay. So just on that, if say someone owns 3/4 of a ticket, they need a quarter of a ticket.
Yeah.
The person that owns that quarter of a ticket, they could just put a price on how much they want to sell it for, right?
Yeah, well, they can add it to the AMM liquidity pool, and the AMM will figure out the price.
Okay.
Just like trading a token.
Okay. Cool. So my next question. Do we need we're hearing about the game coming out maybe before 3 months, maybe in 6 months, we don't know precisely, but by the time from now, after the Prysms to the game, do we need to mint anything else to play, or is it just, are we good to play with just SurrealScapes and Prysms? I know obviously
you're actually good to play without either. You can just come and play on community land, but if you want to optimize your strategy, then you need, you know, player-owned SurrealScapes and Prysms, and potentially other collectibles, you know, to fully optimize. So it's designed to allow people at different layers to be able to participate, but there are no other planned collectibles required for season 1.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, just I can understand. I mean, I understand with the whole engagement score, bringing people in early. You know, boosting up the future score, so it looks great in total. I just hope that collection score though is like the apex, because a lot of people invested a lot of money in that. And I know you do. I'm not saying you're stupid or anything, but you know, there's just a lot of talks, you know, back and forth about this whole new engagement score. I know it freaks quite a few people out when you know that you get 100 prisms and it's like 10,000 engagement score, regardless how it's paid out. It just look, you know, I just hope that the collection score that a lot of people invested their money in, you know, is the alpha out of the whole thing. But that's it from me anyway, guys. Thanks for answering my questions and listening to me.
Yeah, and I think, as we've said like a dozen times, we're not fucking idiots, and the person who designs the overall economics of this is probably the largest holder in the community.
Yep, great. Thanks, guys, and again, thank you for answering my question.
Cheers, DW. Now, Aaron, I know you and I both have another meeting to jump to.
Yeah.
But we'll there's a couple quick ones here.
No, Alex, we actually have to wrap it up, unfortunately, because we're 5 minutes late for that meeting.
All right, no worries.
Sorry, guys,
well,
we've got to get back to building.
For joining us. Back to building. Thank you, Aaron, for your time. This has been really great, and great to be able to get to a lot of
drop
community
those
questions.
questions to me on Slack, Alex, and we can drop them in Discord.
Perfect, we'll do, and we'll get those updated in the FAQs. Thank you all very much for joining. Once again, my name is Alex Mailer, VP Community at Futureverse. We've been joined by Aaron McDonald, co-founder and CEO of Futureverse. This has been the Third Kingdom AMA, and we look forward to seeing you out there in the game.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for your questions.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Well, that was interesting. Makes you kind of think, right? Do you max mint the prisms? And then all of a sudden, they say, well, you don't need technically anything. You can just play on community land. So is this game supposed to be free to play as well? Or was he insinuating that the prisms, if you got them, lost my train of thought. You get what I'm talking about. That was interesting, though. He didn't sound too happy at the end there, did Aaron? Guys, why are you questioning things? We got the top holder making this stuff. Get out of here. Get out of here. Tough questions, though. We've seen the NFTs take a pretty much like 40% nosedive over the past 7 days. Imagining people get FOMO on the engagement score because the 10x bonus is insane. It's insane. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I want to do. It's, you know, they've continuously delayed it for various reasons, but we just got to drop. It looks like, or from what people are saying, if you completed all the quests, you got a 3x3 SurrealScape. And if that's the case, there's just another maybe 500 people minimum that need to go and get an additional, like, what, 50 prisms? That's crazy. Curious to see how the NFT market does with that. Anyway, just wanted to record that for anybody that wasn't on X. I don't know if that's going to get uploaded anywhere else that people can see, but I hope you guys enjoy.